to another episode of Perkins Pipes. We've got the SMS Meerschaum here this time. I would bring this guy back out. Last time I had this guy out for a video, I think it was for the White Snake, the Purple album review. And it seems appropriate that I bring this back out for this episode. You'll see why in just a moment. So let's get this guy lit, and let's get to talking. Seemed appropriate to have the white pipe when we were doing the White Snake video. And so it seemed appropriate to bring this back out because David Coverdale is the singer, or one of the singers, on the album we're going to talk about this time. So I'm making this video on the 15th of February, 2024. Which is the 50th anniversary of this album. The legendary Burn by Deep Purple. So this is the album that was the first album with the new lead singer, David Coverdale, and new singer and bassist Glenn Hughes in 1973. Here's the back side of the album. So, wow, so much to say about this album. 50 years old today, remains one of the greatest albums in rock history. Certainly not alone in thinking that. Where to begin with this? So Deep Purple, as many of you may know, again in 1968, Ritchie Blackmore, Roger Glover, Ritchie Blackmore, Ian Pace, John Lord, Nick Simper, and Rod Evans. They made 3 albums. There was Shades of Deep Purple, then the self-titled second album, Deep Purple. Then the Book of Talisman. Then in 1970, it became the Mark II lineup. A lot of people consider the classic lineup of Deep Purple, replacing Rod Evans and Nick Simper with Roger Glover and Ian Gillan, classic vocalist. And they did In Rock, they did Fireball, and then the legendary Machine Head, which of course included Smoke on the Water. Then Roger Glover left, as did Ian Gillan, and they were replaced by Glenn Hughes, formerly of Trapeze, and an unknown vocalist from Saltburn by the Sea, David Coverdale. And this is the first album with the Mark III lineup. So I want to talk a little bit about that on the 50th anniversary. Now this particular edition I got is this gorgeous, gorgeous purple vinyl. Just absolutely lovely. Gorgeous. Love the look of that. Can't go wrong with Deep Purple on Deep Purple. So what makes this album so great? Well, first of all, there's the title track, Burn. Burn is, oh my goodness, it's a guitar lover's dream song. Ritchie Blackmore has some killer licks on it. Burn is an absolute, it's really a complete Deep Purple song. And what I mean by that is everybody is doing something just magnificent on it. You've got, and for all these songs, let's just say it right up front, Ian Pace keeps the beat. All right, Ian Pace is the absolute backdrop or backbone of this group. You got some fabulous organ work by John Lord, the inimitable maestro John Lord. Ritchie is great on the guitar, and then you've got really the first time for the Soul Brothers, as David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes like to call themselves, singing. It's just a fabulous, fabulous song, fabulous lyric. For a long time, I was really convinced that it was written about Cassandra, the priestess of Apollo in the Trojan War. I think I asked David Coverdale about that one time on one of the message boards online. He said no, it's just a general sci-fi sort of lyric. He was very big into science fiction at the time. Second track, Might Just Take Your Life. Oh my goodness, the organ on that is extraordinary. You want to hear some of the John Lord on that Hammond B3. It's extraordinary. Might Just Take Your Life. Fabulous, fabulous song. And even with it a little bit, but certainly on the third track, Lay Down, Stay Down, you hear a little of the funkiness. That I think really Glenn Hughes brought, and ultimately drove Ritchie Blackmore away. This lineup recorded one more album in the following year, 74, Stormbringer. And those were the only two studio albums by the Mark III lineup. And then Ritchie Blackmore left and ultimately went on to form Rainbow. But you hear a little of the funkiness that was going to become more prominent on Stormbringer. You hear little hints of that on Lay Down, Stay Down. Sail Away closes out side one. Incredible lyric. If you're drifting on an empty ocean with no wind to fill your sails, the future, your horizon, it's like searching for the Holy Grail. And that's David Coverdale singing. And then Glenn Hughes comes in. You feel there's no tomorrow as you look into the water below. It's only your reflection. You still ain't got no place to go. Time will show. When? I don't know. Sail away tomorrow. Sail and fly away. I'll find, steal, or borrow, but I'll be there someday. Wonderful lyric. Again, tremendous organ from John Lord. Great guitar from Ritchie. A really, really good song. And side two kicks off with You Will Know One. It's a good song. I like it. It's probably not the favorite song on the whole album. I love this entire album. Absolutely love it. But of the songs, although I will say this, You Fool No One is a very classic, bluesy lyric. The standard thing, hey, if I find you messing around with another man, right, you're going to be in trouble. You fool no one. Very classic bluesy sort of lyric. The kind of thing that we might think about for Deep Purple. We're certainly a blues-based hard rock outfit. So in that regard, it's probably a more standard Deep Purple lyric. for my money, I love what's going on here. The second song on side 2. It's hilarious. To me, it's in the vein of Anyone's Daughter from the 1973 album, Fireball, if you know that song. Where's the kind of line? Ian Gillan is singing that one, of course, and basically saying anytime he tries to go out with anyone's daughter, her daddy has trouble with him, right? Doesn't matter whether it's the farmer's daughter or the judge's daughter, anyone's daughter that he goes out with, the dad doesn't like him. And it's sort of tongue-in-cheek, a little bit fun lyric there. Same thing with what's going on here. It's basically about a guy, he's trying to find some girl he used to know. The lyric is, spent the night chasing up a listed old flame, lying on the floor, I can't remember her name. Somebody tell me, where can I be? I can't stay here. What's going on here? And so the guy basically gets a little bit tipsy and kind of passes out, and he just tries to find out what's going on. Eventually the police come and get him. He's kind of trying to figure out, hey, what's happening here? He just simply tried to look up his old girlfriend. So it's a fun lyric, and again, sort of in that vein of Anyone's Daughter. The third song on side 2 is the legendary, and I'm not overusing that word at all, the legendary Mistreated. This is the one that to me it's pure Richie and it's pure David. I think if there's any song on this album that to me feels like a natural successor to the previous album, which was the last one by the Mark II lineup, Machine Head, it would probably be Mistreated. It's definitely Richie heavy in terms of guitar solos, a couple of solos in the song. Very bluesy, doesn't get any more bluesy in terms of the lyric. I've been mistreated, I've been abused, I've been struck down-hearted, baby, I've been confused. But I know, yes I know, I've been mistreated. Since my baby left me, I've been losing my mind. Now this was such a popular song that eventually David Coverdale, he did sing it in concert with Whitesnake. But most famously, I think, it was covered by Rainbow, when Richie then went on to form Rainbow. And Ronnie James Dio, the inimitable Ronnie James Dio, extraordinary voice. Those of you who know Ronnie's stuff. Ronnie sang a killer version of Mistreated in the Rainbow years. And I don't want to get into who did it better, David Coverdale or Ronnie James Dio. Both of their voices are just iconic rock voices. I love them both, but certainly love the original here. And then, side 2 closes out with a track that, quite honestly, when I didn't used to listen to it that much. It's a song called A200. It's an instrumental. And I remember a time when there used to be a show on VH1 Classic called That Metal Show, hosted by Eddie Trunk, and a couple of other guys, Don Jameson and forget the other guy's name now. But anyway, somebody put that in the comment box, who the other guy was on That Metal Show. But at any rate, they had Lars Ulrich from Metallica on there. And they were talking about instrumental songs on rock albums. And what was your favorite instrumental? And I remember Lars from Metallica picked A200 from the last song on Deep Purple's Burn. It's very science fiction-y sounding. I think prog lovers would like A200. It definitely has a prog sort of a sound to it to me. Just a lot of playing around instrumentally. And these guys were such virtuoso, all of them, just virtuoso musicians, and you really hear that coming out on A200. So that's Deep Purple Burn. Today is the 50th anniversary thought we'd take a look at that seminal album in rock history. So, a couple things. If you like this sort of thing, please subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe. It's so neat to interact with people through these videos here in the United States and even elsewhere in the world. And then, talk to me about Deep Purple, specifically Deep Purple. Are you a fan of Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4? There's so many different lineups of Deep Purple. What do you think of Deep Purple? What's your favorite album by Deep Purple? What's your favorite song by Deep Purple? And here's the question, really. Do you think, in its heyday, Deep Purple was really more of a guitar-based band, especially when Richie was in the band, or more organ-based with John Lord? So pop some comments in there. We appreciate you very much. As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing, or as I say in Latin, Parva agam ut tandem nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.